guys, how's it going? Mr. Huff here. I'm actually here right now in Swansboro, North Carolina, my hometown, and we're at Bicentennial Park right now. Right now we're with Captain Otto A. Burns Jr. He was a privateer, legislator, a shipbuilder, and a merchant. He was born 2 miles from here, and he was going to make the deciding vote for the Constitutional Convention of 1835 for the North Carolina. And today we're going to talk about foreign policy. So just what is foreign policy? Foreign policy is a nation's plan for dealing with other nations. What are the goals of foreign policy? Safeguarding national security, promoting international trade, promoting world peace, promoting democracy, and promoting human rights. The State Department, the Department of Defense, and the Central Intelligence Agency, and the National Security Council all are going to help the president make foreign policy decisions. He doesn't do it just on his own. He uses them to help make these decisions. The State Department is going to involve diplomacy. We have the Department of Defense, which is going to involve the military. When we talk about the Department of Defense, I want you to be able to coincide the Department of Defense, the DoD, with the Pentagon. The Pentagon is going to be the home of the DoD, or Department of Defense. The Constitution is going to give Congress the power to conduct all foreign affairs, which includes declaring war and approving treaties. So let's talk about some of the foreign policy tools that the President and the executive branch are going to use to ensure that we have met all of those goals that I listed earlier. One example of a tool that the President will use for foreign policy includes treaties. Treaties are going to be formal agreements between two or more countries. Now, if the President makes a treaty, the Senate has to approve the treaty by a 2/3 vote. An example of a treaty would be NATO. It's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO is going to include 28 countries from Europe and the United States that are pretty much just a military alliance. Another tool that the President might use might include executive agreements. Now, these are like treaties, except for they're less formal, and they do not require Senate approval. Another tool that is used in foreign policy includes ambassadors. Ambassadors are official representatives of a country's government. The President is going to appoint ambassadors, but the Senate has to confirm. So we have checks and balances coming into play here. Now, ambassadors are only going to be sent to countries with governments that the U.S. accepts as legitimate. That was my wife in the background, if you saw her. Now, another example is going to include trade agreements. Trade agreements are going to outline what products may be traded, and if they are traded, the rules of the trade. An example of this includes NAFTA. You might have heard of it. If not, you're going to hear of it whenever you get to American history. NAFTA stands for the North American Free Trade Agreement. This is going to include Canada, United States, and Mexico. These three countries are pretty much saying that it's going to be free trade between North America. So they're going to lift all of the tariffs or taxes that there has been in the past, and it's going to pretty much just make it easier for us to trade throughout North America, from Mexico all the way to Canada. Another tool is a trade sanction. Now, a trade sanction, it's an effort to punish another country for imposing trade barriers. Another example includes embargoes. Embargoes are agreements among a group of nations that prohibit trade with a specific nation. Another tool that is used for foreign policy includes foreign aid. Foreign aid is going to include money, food, and military assistance or other supplies to help out other nations. And the last type of tool that is used in foreign policy includes military force. Now, military force has to be used with care, but it can be used to carry out some foreign policy decisions. Okay, students, today we talked about making foreign policy. You should be able to answer these questions right here. What is foreign policy? What are the goals of foreign policy? And what are some of the tools used in foreign policy? Make sure you have a general understanding of these tools here. These tools are going to include this baby just fell over there. Treaties, executive agreements, ambassadors, trade agreements, trade sanctions, embargoes, foreign aid, and military force. So that's pretty much it, guys, on foreign policy. We're going to talk about the 15 department heads on Monday, so I'll see you then.